Are you looking for ways to boost your child's immune function? Does it seem like they're sick a lot and it's just really sad to watch them feel so under the weather all the time? Maybe whenever they come in contact with someone who's sick, there's one child in your family that just always gets sick when the other ones don't. And maybe that means that that child needs a little more immune boosting than the others. And that's what we're going to talk about today on Nature's Mysteries Medicine Show. I'm Michele Wildflower. I am the host and, I do different shows. I actually do host retreats, but today we're actually talking about children and their health, not spiritual retreats for now. So I am the founder and formulator for Nature's Mysteries Apothecary, and we just started a new school, Nature's Mysteries Academy of Holistic Health, and I'm the director of education. I also was contracted to write this book, Discover the Essence of Plant Medicine, the 5 Principles of Life-Saving Herbs, for the University of Natural Health, and it's an herbal course for them. It's also a prerequisite. All the students that go through the school have to read my book and take my course. And not only am I a holistic health practitioner, homeopath, herbalist, clinical cannabinoid clinician, essential oil coach, certified in complementary and alternative medicine, but I'm also the mother of 4 daughters and the grandmother of 3 beautiful grandsons. So I have a little experience with children's health, and today that's what I wanted to discuss with you, is ways that we can boost your child's immune function. I'm going to be using a few different colored markers so that we can try to activate different parts of your brain. And I might be asking you questions, and you can just type your answers in the comments, and that'll just kind of help to anchor in this information that we're going to learn today. Because if you're here, you're probably interested in learning it, right? So there are some things that we do that can decrease our child's immune function, and we'll go over those. We actually have a free masterclass coming up November 20th where we're going to take a deep dive into your child's immune system. What really is your child's immune system? What is it really composed of? How it works, and what we can do to boost it. Tonight what we're going to be talking about is 3 natural antibiotics that you can use and not have to feel bad about them destroying your child's intestinal flora, their friendly bacteria, which is imperative for vital health, because some doctors refer to it as our second brain, but 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. So making sure that we have that healthy bacteria is really important for proper immune function. So if we can use alternatives to conventional antibiotics, that would be more beneficial for our children, because we wouldn't be destroying that friendly bacteria. And if you needed to, it's not a big deal. You can always take probiotics. They say that for every time that you've taken antibiotics, that you should take probiotics for 2 years following that. And we'll talk more about that in the free masterclass. To get to the antibiotics that I wanted to talk about this evening, one of them is red clover. And you might be familiar with red clover. You might know of it for some other uses, but tonight it has so many uses. But tonight we're going to be talking about it for boosting immune health. And in Chinese medicine, which is one of the oldest systems of medicine that we know of, they used it traditionally for purifying blood. So if your child is experiencing a lot of illnesses or imbalances, there could be toxins circulating in their blood. And so purifying the blood can have a lot to do with, again, proper immune function. So red clover also prevents cancer, and as well as purifying the blood. Have you ever heard this about red clover? You can type yes in the comments if you have. You can type didn't know if you haven't. Purifying the blood. I'm going to use, like I said, some different colored markers. So I'm going to switch now. And it works great for any kind of respiratory issues. So if your child had any kind of cough or congestion, respiratory infection, then you could turn to red clover as opposed to like Benadryl or NyQuil or any of those children's Tylenol. None of those have been tested on children. It would be illegal and unethical to try those out, test them on kids. So they're actually testing them on your kids. You're the ones testing it for them to see how it works. And actually a lot of children don't have good results, and we'll get into that later. But cough, congestion, respiratory infections. So these plants are mild, plant medicines are mild but effective. It's a great option for any kind of bronchitis or asthma. And why is it good? Because it's an expectorant. I mean, that's one of its properties. It has so many properties. We're not going to talk about them all this evening. But one of the properties that it has is that it's an expectorant. So it's actually loosening phlegm in their nose, throat, and chest. So if you could do that naturally with a plant, you're going to be so much better off. Because first of all, when your child is battling an illness, if they can fight it naturally and have their immune system be what killed it, then they're just going to be that much stronger. Every time they get sick and their body beats it naturally without any synthetic medications or molecules, it makes them that much stronger. So it also is a bronchodilator, which means that it makes the large passages of the lungs larger, increasing the airflow so that they can breathe better. It's also a great eye wash for like conjunctivitis. You know, it's antibiotic, so it'll kill any kind of infection. And in my book, I have lots of recipes. There's over 150 different recipes in there. We profiled 33 different herbs. We go over growing, harvesting, storing, preparations, applications, and red clover is just one of the plants that we go over. And I have an affinity with that plant because it actually helped me to save my husband's life 7 years ago when he was diagnosed with a triple hit of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and they only gave him a 35% chance of curing it. And red clover is one of the plants that we use. That's why it's in our logo for Nature's Mysteries Apothecary. Our logo is actually all the plants that we used to rid his body of cancer 7 years ago. And he's still cancer-free today. And every time we go back and see his oncologist, she always reiterates that whatever we're doing is working because the cancer hasn't come back, and to keep up what we're doing. And in the book, if it's a plant that we use for his cancer-free protocol, it will say at the top of the plant profile, cancer-free protocol, so that you know that that's one that we use. Does that sound good? You can type yes in the comments if this is making sense to you. If you've never heard anything about plant medicine and it's not making sense to you, hopefully by the end of this show it will. So now what I'd like to talk about is echinacea, and this is one that you might have heard of before. It's a pretty common antibiotic that herbalists and some parents know about. It was used by the Great Plain Indian tribes for 400 years. And, you know, synthetic molecules and medications, can they really say that? You know, they haven't been around that long. These plants people have been using for thousands of years with amazing results. And they're all recorded in herbals, like really from the medieval times, you know. So it's not really a guessing game. It's pretty much science. So echinacea works great for killing infections because, right, it's an antibiotic. But most all of these plants that we're talking about are so much more than just antibiotic. They're also antiviral, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiparasitic, you know, like kills, antifungal, like kills everything in a test tube. So it's good for colds, flus, any kind of urinary tract infections. And is this something that you've heard of before? Are you familiar with this? It's also good for influenza and upper respiratory tract infections. And like we said, there's none of the side effects. You don't have to worry about infections. You know, you don't have to worry about destroying that friendly bacteria in your child's gut, which is super important. And like I said, we'll talk more about that in the free masterclass that's all about boosting your child's immune function. It also helps, you know, like if you have a wound that just like won't heal, it works great for slow healing wounds. So that's a lot of uses there. And what do you think about this? This is, you know, these plants are pretty amazing. It would work well for tonsillitis, if you had tonsillitis, and these are great options, like we said, to over-the-counter medications that have never been tested on children, and foreign molecules are not the best choice for our immune systems because they have to go somewhere. If it's a synthetic molecule, our body doesn't really know how to deal with it. So if it's like Benadryl or Tylenol or something like that, that actually damages your child's liver and kidneys. So if they're not feeling well, it's like they have a fever, they have a cough, they're not feeling good, and then you give them some Benadryl or child's Tylenol, and now their liver is actually suffering and trying to like work overtime to like keep up because there's those foreign molecules that it's having to deal with, filtering and everything. So if you can give your children plant medicine, you're just boosting their immune system and helping them in the long run to be stronger individuals that hopefully won't get sick as often as some of those adults that you know that don't have a strong immune system that get sick all the time. Maybe they were someone whose parents always gave them antibiotics, and honestly, odds are parent probably gave them antibiotics, because if you don't know about herbal medicine, then what other choices are there? Doctors aren't telling us about these choices, and that's why we started this show, was so that parents and folks can learn about herbal remedies and alternative solutions to the ones that your doctor prescribes that have debilitating side effects, could be addictive, cause brain bleeding, suicidal thoughts that damage your liver, that number of side effects that they come with. So that's what we're trying to do, is help folks be healthier, stay healthier, and keep your families healthier. How does that sound? Type yes in the comments if you're with me. Okay, the last one that I wanted to talk about this evening, let's see, what color should we use? Maybe black. Is chamomile. Did you know that chamomile was an antibiotic? Type yes in the comments if you knew that. Chamomile. And this is another one that I profiled in my book. And like I said, all of these plants that I'm talking about, there's recipes in the book that you can read and figure out how to prepare for your family. And chamomile has been used actually for over 5,000 years. It's been approved in 26 different countries to treat colic, indigestion, muscle spasms, tension, inflammation, infection. It's actually sometimes referred to as herbal aspirin because it actually has pain relieving properties as well. And it works great for bringing down fevers. This is a great option. And in the children's free masterclass, we're going to be talking about other alternatives besides chamomile that you could use to bring down a fever. So you'll want to stay tuned and sign up for that so that you can learn more. Asthma, colds, flus, any kind of like seasonal allergies. And it's really yummy too. You'd make a tea and I'm sure your children would like it. Seasonal allergies, diarrhea, it works great for diarrhea. It's really good for your intestinal tract. Whooping cough. Stress and anxiety, I mean, it's known by a lot of people to actually help with that. So it helps, it's like a nervine, it calms your nervous system. Which, if you have a little one who's not feeling well, that also can help them feel better, is having, you know, something to calm their nervous system a little bit, even if it wasn't an antibiotic, which this is, but even if it wasn't, calming that nervous system can also help them sleep, which is, you know, our bodies do a lot of repair when they're sleeping. So that's definitely going to be another benefit that you could enjoy from it. It's actually, a little tidbit real quick, it's actually known as the plant's physician. So if you have plants that aren't feeling well, you could put chamomile next to it and it will actually help them revitalize. It's known as the plant's physician. Isn't that so cute? Okay, depression. So cute, right? Nervousness, like we said, colic, any kind of childhood digestive disorder. Motion sickness, you know, or like nausea. If their stomach was upset, you could give them some chamomile tea. Motion sickness. Haha. Got a little ahead of myself. Muscle soreness. It's antispasmodic, so it helps with cramps. It helps with acid reflux. So that's a great option to like those antacids that people get. Acid reflux. So you can see with plants that when you utilize plant medicine, you know, like if you went to the doctor and your child had a cough and they had a urinary tract infection and they were getting a rash and they had a sore throat, it's like you would walk out of there with like 4 different prescriptions that they would give you. It's like with this plant medicine, they're all encompassing. They help so many different parts of our body that really a lot of times all you would need is one plant and you wouldn't even need a blend to help your child feel better. It's plant medicine is truly amazing. And like I said, if you want to sign up for the free masterclass, we'd love to have you join us. We're going to be exploring your child's immune function and ways to boost it naturally. Some ways you might have heard of before, some might be new to you. And if you would like to take your knowledge a step farther, at Nature's Mysteries Academy of Holistic Health, we're actually open for enrollment right now for our winter session, which begins January 25th. And it's a 12-week holistic health practitioner program. We're accredited with the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. So upon completion of our holistic health practitioner program, you could apply to them to become a board certified holistic health practitioner. How cool would that be? To have that certification to show everyone that you have the knowledge. Sure, you might have the knowledge and you're like, seriously, I've read a lot of books, I've watched a lot, but if you have that certification, no one can question it. You have that right there, and they actually give you like a little wallet card that you can carry with you too, to show people that you are indeed a holistic, board certified holistic health practitioner. So we would love to have you join us for that. We have scholarships available and payment plan options. You can go to naturesmysteries.com to find out about that under Nature's Mysteries Academy. We also host retreats. For a while, it was women's empowerment and spiritual awakening retreats that we've done for the last couple of years. But so many women have said, oh, I really wish that my husband could come. So we're actually having a Rock Hounds Dream Getaway. So it's a crystal digging retreat in Hot Springs, Arkansas. and it's for, anybody's welcome. It's not, a specific gender. And it's all inclusive 4-day retreat in a big house that's lakeside with big decks and porches on it. So at the end of the day, after you're done mining and you have all your crystals, you can like set them out and everybody can see your finds, and you're be enjoying your time with like-minded other crystal lovers. That's like the best. That's one of the, of course, obviously finding the crystals is a lot of fun too, but one of the best parts is just seeing what everybody found at the end of the day and just comparing, and it's super fun showing people what you found and seeing what they found. It's a lot of fun, and we would love to have you join us. That one is going to be the weekend of 4/20, so it starts 4/18 and it's over 4/22. And you can find out about that, like I said, at naturesmysteries.com. Then we also have our Women's Empowerment Spiritual Awakening Retreats that we always have. And the first one will be June 27th to the 29th, I think it is. You can check on our page. We just put it up. I think that's when it is, June 27th to the 29th. It's the last weekend of June at any rate. Sorry, I can't remember. Sometimes when I'm on the spot, it just, poof, I was just about to say it and it was there and then it just left me. And we'll have, so that one's called The Awakening, and that one is all about awakening that spirituality within you in a safe space with other like-minded women from cultures all over, where we can unite and explore our spirituality together. And then we have another one, September 27th to the 29th. That's the last weekend of September. And Terry, if you remember from our other retreats, who is a medium, and she actually is an amazing artist as well. She does spirit-guided portraits. And so if you'd like, you could get a spirit-guided portrait done with her. We also have optional tarot readings and Reiki sessions available. And you can find out about those at naturesmysteries.com, and you'll just go to the spiritual retreats tab right there to find out about those. And a couple more. There's a solar eclipse the first weekend. It's the 8th, so it's right around the first weekend in April. And there's not going to be another eclipse like that again for a while. And there's all the planets are like aligned at the top of like a chart. If you looked at it at a chart, Venus is at the very top. The moon is in Aries, which is the planet of, like new beginnings. So that is like an astrological retreat. It's called Venus's Beginnings. And in that retreat, we'll be unlocking the secrets to yourself, where we'll be taking a deep dive into your chart, learning about your sun sign, your moon sign, the houses that your planets are in, and just getting to know yourself a little better so that you can empower yourself into going out into the world with a better understanding of yourself and why you are the way you are, and your habits, and the reasons why you like to do things the way you like to. Some people might say you're stubborn, but then when you realize in your chart, you're not stubborn. That's the way you are. It has nothing to do with stubbornness. It's just like, it's actually an attribute that you have, right? Okay, well, thank you everyone for taking the time to learn about your child's immune system and ways to boost it. Join us this whole month of November. We're going to be talking about that. And like I said, November 20th, we're going to be taking a deep dive into boosting your child's immune function. And if you would like to get my book so you can figure out some of those recipes and the best way to prepare the plants, that is also on naturesmysteries.com, and that's under plant medicine books. So I'll look forward to seeing you next week when we discover the essence of plant medicine. Take care.